All right, number 9. This time we are given a composition of functions h of x that has been composed f of g, and we want to work backwards and figure out what was the f function and what was g. So whenever I do these, there's a simple way to think about it. So we take this function h of x and we want to decompose it and figure out what the two functions we plugged in were. So what I think about is if I have some kind of a grouping symbol, I take that to be my outer function and this is my inner. So what I do is I take whatever's inside and I let that be, let me just say f of x and g of x. So whatever's inside of the grouping symbol, I let that be my g of x. I let that be what was plugged in because it's inside. So 7x plus 9, that will be my inside. And once you remove that, you would have to plug that in for an x, so you replace that whole expression, whatever was inside, with an x. So this will be x to the third power. So this is the simplest way of thinking about it. You have an inner and an outer. The outer function will be something, just replace it with an x, and then the inner function will be the g of x. I hope that makes sense, what I'm trying to convey. But you have an inner function, let that be what you plugged in, your g of x. Your outer function will be your f of x, and just replace that plug-in with x, and you'll have two functions. That is a simple way that should always work. There are more than one way to rewrite this, but this is probably one of the most simple ways to do it. So of those, we want to figure out which one will match. And I do believe we see that exact set of functions for answer choice D. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for number 10, but this time we want to select all that apply. So there's going to be more than one correct answer. So first, I'm going to do it with the inner outer function type scenario, and then we will work backwards, trial and error, plug in, and see what we get for the other. So we have h of x is equal to 2, and then we have x minus 5 to the 9th. So again, I have this inside part, x minus 5, so I'm going to let that be my g of x. X minus 5. And then I'm going to let everything else, replace that with an x, be my f of x. So I have 2 divided by, so be x to the 9th. And so if I were to take this and plug it in for x, I would in fact get that. So this is one possibility for the decomposition, and looks like that matches with answer choice A. And then we can look at the other ones and see if they work. So if I were to plug this in here, I would have 9 raised to the second power, so that would give me an 18. That would not work. C, however, so they just let the whole expression be x. So if I replace this with x, then I would definitely get h of x. So A and C, those are the two that you want to use. And then F, we want to do the same thing. We just want to pick out which one works. So there's not really an inner outer here, but this is the way I would think about it. H of x is given by x cubed minus 5 over x cubed plus 5. Okay, so where I have the x's, they're exactly the same. So it's to the third power. That's what I would call my g of x. So if I do f of x, g of x, I would call g of x just to be x cubed. And then I would call f of x, x minus 5, and x plus 5. So I just replace the x's with an x cubed, and then I get those two scenarios. So of my choices, A looks close, but if you plug the 5 in for both x's or all x's, you would not get this. C wants to cube the whole thing. That would not work. B would only plug it in there. That would not work. So D is the one that's going to match with what we put together here.